But it also just tells you that the Democrat Party, the DNC, has completely ignored young men. You want to know how out of touch the left is?
Remember David Hogg? Out of touch.
Remember David Hogg? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, before I get to that, there was an opinion piece on USA Today titled, Gen Z voters were the biggest disappointment of the election. Why did we fail? And they were really upset that there was this huge shift toward Gen Z toward Trump, right?
Yeah.
It was 46 Trump, 52 Harris, which is really close and occurs nowhere in nature with the youngest voting bloc in a country. And with Gen Z men, Trump won them 56-42.
Wow.
With Gen Z men, Trump won them. I wouldn't have been able to fathom this as a millennial, like in the Bush years or the McCain or Romney years. I didn't have a single, aside from family. And
Green Day told me not to vote for him, dude.
Yeah. No FX, Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. Everything.
They said don't do it while they got rich.
Yep. Everything. It was just and it tells you that, well, first off, I guess the left doesn't have a corner on cool at all. By default, people aren't going, I don't want to be an outcast. I'll vote Democrat. That's a big deal. But it also just tells you that the Democrat Party, the DNC, has completely ignored young men. And they've been saying it for a long time. And no one's been listening. So to save the day, coming in riding on his gender-neutral horses, David Hogg, and he tweeted out or X'd out, today I'm meeting with a group of researchers and activists to discuss how Democrats win back young men. Hold on a second, David Hogg. Aren't you one of them?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Imagine, how out of touch do you have to be a young man and you need a focus group to figure out what young men want?
It's like if Mel Gibson was a woman the whole time and what women want.
Yes.
A woman turned into a woman.
What questions would you be most interested in asking? And I believe he did like a video chat on Instagram. Now, to be clear, he's considering running for vice chair of the Democratic National Committee.
Please let that happen.
Wow. What a great career path that is.
These guys,
from school shooting to job.
And by the way, this tells you that, of course, the left. If a young man who was the face of the Democratic Party, and of course, was he? I always forget. Was he Sandy Hook or Newtown?
He's Parkland.
Parkland. That's right. Yes. He was Parkland. That's how his rise to fame. If someone who has been seen as the face of the youth movement for the Democrats cannot understand why other people his age broke in record numbers for Republican, that tells you that the Democrat Party it's not listening, and it's not only not listening; they are proactively cutting out young men. They've vilified young men. It's bad enough to say, we can't hear you. It's worse to say, hey, well, anytime I hear the voice of a young male, shut up. And that's what they have been doing. And this is why I've always said, too, look, the right does this with tokenism. I had to introduce conservative wonderkins at CPAC who are 13 years old. I'm going, you guys don't understand this. This is gimmickry.
Yeah.
Just a young person does not equal a young demo, right? David Hogg is more out of touch with young male voters than Jon Stewart, who, by the way, has had better demo numbers than Trevor Noah, than Stephen Colbert. It's not about being young. It's about being relevant and being able to listen. The left is incapable because young or old, white men need to shut up, and young white men largely are the ones going, you know what? Hey, I'm not going to be condemned for the rest of my life for an immutable characteristic, to use your term. I still have some ideas. I still have some wants and needs. And you know what? I pay my taxes. Imagine how out of touch you have to be. David Hogg is a young man who needs a focus group to ask young men what they want.
They picked him based on his victimhood status.
Well, they did, basically. But I think that's exactly the point. It's exactly the opposite, David, of what you guys have been selling. That's what they want. They want nothing to do with you. And think about this. Like, you're a young man. You have borne the brunt, other than economically, of all of the bad DEI policies, of all of the shut up and sit down, of all of the Me Too crap, because you're a kid and you're going on a date with a girl at 17 and you're like, I don't know if something's going to happen. Like, you've got these kids basically just having to deal with all of this crap, and now they have alternative media. They're not going to the mainstream news outlets. They don't have to hear the spin. They just have the David Hoggs and the Harry Sissons that are just paid activists, essentially.
They really are.
And they have turned away from them.
It's complete astroturfing. So David Hogg, and comment below if you think it's all that complicated as far as what young men want. David Hogg needs a focus group to help him out. And that's why we actually have David Hogg's, his What Young Men Want focus group, the 7+1 most heard answers. This week, 7+1.
You forgot Stefan in the chamber.
7+1 answers heard at the What Young Men Want Conference by David Hogg. Number 7, you know what, Josh? Number 7.
Hey, remember George Michael? Yeah, I bet he'd kick your ass.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Well, that doesn't seem like they're really listening to him.
I don't know. Yeah.
Number 6. I've met trans women on hormone replacement therapy with more testosterone than you. Number 5. What men want? Tits. Number 4. Number 4, Gerald.
On the contact sheet, phone number actually gave you the number to a Bennigan.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
This doesn't seem like they're answering the questions. This just seems like they're trolling David Hogg.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Number 3. See response number 5. Oh, that's right. It was tits. Number 2. David, maybe you'd understand this better if you cosplay as a submissive cuck dominated by a strong female figure, and I cosplay as the guy who leaves you tied up and goes to Hooters. Number 1.
4, number 5.
Number 1, Josh.
I bet you think we want a 2025 Jaguar.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? They seem a little upset. And the +1 response heard at the What Young Men Want focus group from David Hogg. You've heard of the dog whisperer? How about the horse whisperer? Well, you're just a That's been this week's 7+1.
You forgot Stefan in the chamber.
Hey, if you like this video, you can hit the notification bell there to know when new videos come out, because I don't think subscriptions are still a thing on YouTube, but you know, you're an adult, most likely, so you can just choose one of the videos here to keep watching, and hopefully it's similar. I don't know what it is.